other routes. So we have seen the post route. Now how to do the get route? Okay, get and other routes. Okay, for now I will take this off. Okay, for the get you need to put app.get, okay, slash to dos, and then you have to get all the data in the collection. So what is the collection you have? This is the collection, right? The model what it is the collection. So collection dot find is the function you have to use. That will return all the data in the collection, and you can just print the data, and in the response you can send 200 and convert the data into JSON format and then send it in the response. If there is any error, send a error response. Okay, so this is what is get, and this is very simple. Similarly, you can have a delete route. Delete route, right? Basically, you have to give in the HTTP request. You need to give the data which to do you are going to delete. So for that, you need the ID of the record we need to delete, right? So that comes in the URL itself. That is why we have put request.params. Okay, but in our post method, right, we got the data in the body. That's why we put request.body. Sometimes we might get the data in the header. That time you have to put request.header. Okay, so to delete an item, the route should be to do's colon ID. Some ID should be there because in the URL itself ID will come. Okay, and then here, so once you delete it, I'm just sending a certain message that deleted, that particular ID is deleted. Okay, if you want to use a variable in the text, use a single quote which is on top of which is next to letter 1 in the keyboard, and then you can use a dollar symbol, and then with curly braces you can put your you can use your JavaScript variables. Okay, so now in this you're getting the ID and you're deleting it, so it will be deleted. And then if there is any issue in deleting it, if the ID is wrong or something, delete failure will come. Okay, this is how you have to delete it. Okay, now there are two things you need to understand. Okay, the first thing is like we have done something here. Okay, let's comment this for now. Okay, let's comment this. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first add a data. Okay, and then I'm going to delete the data. Okay, using the postman. So first I will start my server. I will start my server using npm start. The server is getting started. Okay, so server is started now. Let's go and add the data. So in the post method, in the body, choose raw, and then here in the drop down, choose JSON. Okay, and then you can add any new to do. Okay, title 10s. Go to 10s at 6 p.m. Okay, so I'm sending this data. This is a to do. I have to add this to do. Okay, this is a post, and then I'm sending it, and then there is no response coming here. Okay, and if I see the app has crashed, and it is, what is the message? Cannot read the properties of undefined title. Okay, in the line number 18, this title is undefined. We are sending the data in the body only, but here we are not able to get the data in title. Okay, now what is the problem going here? Okay, let's see what is the reason. Okay, so now as we saw before, right, this is a post method, right, which is what in your backend. Let's put the backend big. Okay, you have your code. Okay, and you have your Express framework. This is Express framework. You are telling Express that in the Express framework, you are telling that for this post route, call this function. Correct? So your Express is calling this function. How you are telling Express? You are putting app dot post. You're calling this function. That is how you are telling. The post method is here. So in the post method, what it does, it takes the route and takes the function, and it the Express framework makes for the post route. This is a function to call. It makes a note of it, and when there is a HTTP request for this post route, it knows what function to call. It will call this function. Correct? When it calls this function, it is giving the data and request dot body. Correct? This is nothing but an object, right? For you in the HTTP request, it is coming in JSON data. This JSON data has to be converted to an object like this, right? So for that, what we tell Express, what we have to do is we have to use a JSON parser. The JSON parser will read this data, and then it will convert to read the data and put the data in this request.body object, and then it will call this function. So before calling your route, this function, there is some other function has to be called. What it has to do? It has to parse the JSON data, put it in request.body, and then it has to call our function. This code, right? This is what is called middleware, which is getting called before our route. So how to put the middleware? We are in our code, we have to use app.use. This is how you tell Express to use this middleware. You are putting express.json. Okay. So when you tell that, you are telling Express to use the express.json middleware. So whenever HTTP request comes, the express.json, right? What it will do? It will call the express.json middleware. What the express.json does? It passes the data, converts into a object, and then it will call our route. Now the title will have proper value. Okay, let's try to use that. Okay, I have just commented it. Okay, so this is how you tell, right? You tell Express to use the express.json middleware. You can use any JSON parser. There is body parser, other things are there. But for now, we are using the JSON parser which is there in the Express itself. Okay, now this is how it works. Okay, so now for now, let's save this. Okay, I think it is saved. Let's try to add this now. Now it is added. Now we didn't get any error. Because of the JSON parser. This is the middleware. This is the middleware for all the routes. Any routes you have, right? This is the middleware. Okay. Now you can also have route specific middleware. For one particular route alone, a middleware can be called. What is middleware? Nothing but some operation you have to do before they are calling your routes. For example, you write an application, right? Any course selling application or any application you are writing. Okay. For that application, right? Course selling application you are writing, course selling app. Okay. For that, you will have a lot of users, right? Users will be registering to take your course. Okay. For the users wants to see all the courses available. The user wants to see what are the courses purchased by him. So user 1 wants to see courses purchased by him. User 2 wants to see the courses purchased by him. User 2 should not see the courses purchased by user 1. Okay. So basically they are getting all the courses, right? Purchased courses they are getting from the database. So before purchasing the course, you have to authenticate the user, whether the user is valid or not. Then only you should send the data. This authentication and all can be done in the middleware. So the middleware can go check in the database whether the user is there or not. Right? This authentication kind of things can be done by the middleware, and this is can be route specific, and this is not route specific, right? For all the routes, this middleware, right? Expert the JSON browser will be called. So how to have a route specific middleware? Okay, it's just before your route, right? After your thing, you have to mention the function. So this is a route specific middleware. So this function will be called before your actual function gets called. Okay. So in this function, you can do the authentication, all the things you have to do. And you have to call for this also, you're getting the request response and a next function. When you call the next function, this route will be called. Okay. Suppose, right, you are doing a user authentication. Okay. If user is valid, okay, you call the next function. Else now you send a response. Here itself you send a response stating that 400.json invalid user. Right? Here we can have a user to be true. Okay. So if the user is true, you're calling next. So this function will be called and you get all the data. And if the user is false, you're just sending a invalid value. Okay. So let's save this. Let's clear all these things. And let's see. Let's try to get the data now. Go to get. Okay. Send. Okay, gym and tennis, both the thing has come. Okay, here see the middleware is hit. Middleware is hit. Since the user is true, you're calling next. Since you're calling next, you're getting all the data. If suppose this is false, service is starting. Okay. If this is false, what happened? The next will not be called. You will send a response. So you are avoiding calling the actual route in the middleware. Right? So now if I send it, see invalid user, the response you sent right here. So this is what is route specific middleware, which you can put it in the middle, right? And this is a common middleware for all the function. Middleware is what some operation you have to do before calling your actual route, like authentication and all. That can be done in the middleware.